Hi everyone, Gary Waterman here, former police officer. We're going to do part 7, showing research in relation to the World Trade Center and how it links into this unbelievably massive fraud by our own governments that appears to have been going on for absolutely decades and has almost reached its ambition to solidify it through the removal of cash in society. Cannot happen. It can be changed peacefully. Let's move on. Next video. Here we go. So this bit you can pause it again. I'll just slow this down so you can pause it and read through it. You can see how this all links in through to Ghislaine Maxwell, Robert Maxwell. There's another video in relation to Jeffrey Epestein. You'll see how that all links in. Deaths of police officers seem to link to it. The World Trade Center, as we know, we're talking about that now, and forged bank documents. Massive. It's massive. Right, so we're now looking at so we were in the process because it links in from this bit. So we're looking at this company, DG Developments. This is just another page from its incorporation document. You can see Woodbury. It's already had Barbara McCann, but now we've got Woodbury Secretarial Limited. That features throughout, of an address in Woodbury Grove, North Finchley. Remember Finchley Road. And from Oxford, we're now looking back in Oxford United Football Club. We've got Ghislaine Maxwell's name on that company for that. So that corroborates the information from Wikipedia. And there's also her, Kevin Maxwell. Again, let me just reiterate, this is public information. This information cannot be taken down from social media. They're publicly available documents. If you look on the Companies House registration system, please do that. Corroborate, verify this is all correct. You will see it is. Or contact me and I will send you the documents as well. It's important we get this information out there as much as we can. There's already a lot of people that contact me and have got it. Please keep doing that. No cost whatsoever. I just need to we need to get the truth out there so it changes the system. Here's another company in liquidation. You can see it's linked through to it from Kevin. Very unusual name. The number there on the right, it's in liquidation. PLC company. It's an old company. You'll see the incorporation document for it here from 1911. Okay, now this has been going on for before the wars. Okay, before World War One, and in a minute we'll come on to some very interesting information about all of that. We can see this address, One More London Place. Remember, we had 3 more London Place. They're using the same addresses throughout, just varying it slightly. There will be very likely be no affiliation to the companies to those addresses, if they're even real addresses. And unfortunately, Companies House has been allowing this. It's clear Companies House are involved in this fraud. They're now trying to say, as you've hopefully seen from my previous video, that the whole system has been hacked and that these documents have been put onto the register by someone else. This all shows that is not the case. Okay, this is fraud by Companies House and therefore our government. The government have already received loads of emails about this. They're not even responding. Okay, MPs aren't responding. The police have shut it down. The police appear to be involved. They've removed the head of organisations, the Serious Fraud Office, the Independent Office for Police Conduct, the Chief Constable, the Deputy Chief Constable for Dorset have been moved. The Bournemouth head of the council has resigned, Andrew Mellor. You'll see that from my previous videos. This is massive. Companies House have come in and said they're now going to verify some company details, but not all of them. That's because they want to allow and be selective who can use this system of fraud. They haven't said anything like that for the whole time since they've been in court, since they were operating in 1844. Suddenly, on the 26th of October, they've come out and said, yes, we're going to verify some companies, not all of them. Why not? Why not? You verify everything else. You verify. We have to give you our identity and verify our address with utility bills all the time. Do it for companies. Politicians are linked through to it. You will see forged documents linked through from research from David Cameron. From every area, there appears to be forged incorporation documents. This is a crime against the public. Anyway, I'm waffling. Let's get back. So this company, you can see it changed its name the last time. It was in 1991. And again, it's got a Pergamon name. We've already established that Pergamon is linked to Robert Maxwell. And you can see here it's got an original name. It should have an original name of Hollis Brothers and ESA PLC. Has it? Of course it hasn't. It's got an unregistered incorporation document. Again, this is fraud, and it's linked to Jordan's and Sons Limited. You can see at the bottom there. So we're now looking at Berlitz. Okay, Berlitz was the company. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, Robert Maxwell sent Ghislaine Maxwell to New York to take part in some sort of fraudulent activity to defraud the Berlitz company. We're now looking at that company. So they were started in 1878. Remember, Companies House was 1844. I personally, my own personal opinion, I think the whole point of Companies House being set up was to do with this fraud. I think this has been planned for so long. And thank goodness this evidence is coming out before it gets to the point where it can't be stopped. And again, peacefully stopped. This can be stopped peacefully. There's already MPs. Suggestion over 80 MPs are going to be stepping down or not renewing their seats. I suggest I would think we'll be getting a lot more resignations and people stepping down. That's what we need. We need all the ones making these decisions and allowing the system to step down, bring someone else in that is going to do this, handle the taxation system transparently, honestly, and openly, so we can trust our governments. It's essential. It's essential. Anyway. So have a little read of this. You can see it's about Berlitz, and they based a massive company, massive company. Additional schools, they're opening schools all over the place. So we've now got educational systems linked to this system of fraud. Okay, so it could be, we have to consider that the whole educational system has been based around this fraudulent system. We have to consider that with all of this, with how big it is. There's been so many false flags trying to divert away from this, and I've had to work out and realise there's a false flag. There's so many. It's all to do with this. If you look here, Bernese Corporation linked to Berlitz in 2001. Okay, World Trade Center 2001. Remember, Berlitz became a wholly owned subsidiary of the Bernese Corporation in 2002. Berlitz Publishing was sold to Langschleit. Sorry, I pronounced that completely wrong. You wouldn't think I was in Germany for a few months, would you? Okay, so we've got that company. We'll come to that in a minute. Feel free to read the rest of that yourself. You can pause this, of course. And I suggest you do. Please do. Please research and corroborate this. You'll see everything I'm showing you is true. Certainly the incorporation document, screenshots, and from the register, there's no disputing them. You know, these are screenshots taken from it, and they alone prove fraud. So, okay, you've got another company, Fukatek Publishing. So have a little look through that slowly. I'm just quickly scouring it. But they were involved heavily in education, right back from before the World Wars. Okay. Now let's look at Berlitz UK Limited. Gray's Inn Road, that features all the time through this. They were incorporated in 1939, that one. This one has got an incorporation document that is matching the name, so that's fine. That's how it should be. And then we've gone through, this person links through to Berlitz Publishing Company Limited. So we're looking at them now. And they have got, not surprisingly, Maxwell associated names to them. Now they resigned, so I'm just looking at this. So you've got Legist Secretaries Limited, was linked to Berlitz Publishing. Okay, and they resigned, you can see here, 2002. They were a nominee secretary, doesn't say the date, when did they? You can look at that obviously if you need to go into it a bit more. We've got somebody linked to it there from New Jersey. That will, again, this is public information, so this can't be taken down. And we've got Eversheds linked through to Legist Secretaries. Legist. Eversheds, it links throughout this fraud. Right the way through this fraud. Now I'm going to be doing a video soon. There is a solicitor that my company has tried to employ. It's not a real company because it's fraudulently incorporated, so they can't act as a company. That's the thing, you see. A company can't legally act if they haven't been incorporated and registered on the Companies House system. But anyway, there's a company called Brady's Solicitors that they've employed to take me to court for non-payment of my service charges in relation to the building. I've got overwhelming evidence saying there's a fraudulent system. That company links through to Eversheds. That's the point that I was getting to with that. And I'm going to do another video on that later. But you can see here the incorporation document, Waterlow and Sons for Eversheds trustees. Morwin Trust. There is another company, I haven't put it on here because it's not really relevant to you guys, but another Eversheds company is not been registered on the register, but its incorporation document doesn't match. As soon as I pointed this out to Eversheds and called them out on this, I haven't heard anything. Sorry, Brady Solicitors, I've heard nothing from them since. You can see we've got an address now in Poole, and this address is used frequently for real estate properties, real estate companies in the Poole area. So this company is linked through now from, if you look at my research for either Ghislaine or it might be one of the, from Berlitz actually, I think it led through to this. So this is now looking at research surrounding that company, and it comes back to Poole. Now they had a previous company called, previous name of ILSC. And that is important because there's another company called SLSS. So if you look at my Max Clifford video, you'll see that possibly links through to it. Oh, bear with me. Where are we? So we're now back, as we've said, comes back to Poole near Dorset, very close to the same address is used in management companies. And then this links through to I've highlighted that for some reason, sorry. Oh, you can see Stanley Davis of City Road. Remember, City Road addresses all the way through the fraud. Watch all my other videos, they're really boring, I know, but this is absolutely crucial, this information. Can't emphasize this enough. So we've got Farrah Estate Management, now linked to Branksome Business Park in Poole. And they link through to, lo and behold again, Initiative Property Management. Okay, this is why they're so worried about this and why they've honed in on that company. But hopefully from the other video, you'll realise that Dorset Police, who have shut down my investigation, okay, and shared information with suspects and all sorts, but they've gone in and publicised, I'll mention this again because it is really important at this point. Again, I'm repeating myself from other videos, but the Bournemouth Daily Echo, who is owned by NewsQuest, that's linked to this fraudulent system, publicised an article in September 2023 saying that Dorset Police is investigating Initiative Property Management Limited for fraud. Over a month later, they then publicised that they had just searched that company address. Now, I know full well as a police officer, you don't publicise an investigation in relation to a company and not search it until a month later. That allows the deliberate attempt for falsification of evidence, evidence to be concealed, destroyed, altered. You just don't do it. And yet here we go. That's what's happened. As soon as I publicised the concern about the search, there was another article saying they'd now arrested 2 people. The Bournemouth Echo has refused to respond to any of my evidence. They're just ignoring me, even though I've got obviously clearly overwhelming evidence in relation to all of this. You also had the MP for Dorset, Connor Burns, went to the Houses of Parliament over that company. That's shown in my other video, and highlighted that specific company as being an issue, trying to downplay and hide how huge this issue really is. So now we're looking at Bernese, which was mentioned earlier through the research from Berlitz. and they are linked to SDG on their incorporation components, company document. SDG on the left there, you can see links to previous research to Nicola Bulley. And it also links through to research in relation to David Cameron. Okay. And research surrounding him. You see SDG registrars, David Cameron, Global X, and it links through to Nicola Bulley research. So now we're looking at that company we mentioned earlier, remember? Now this is absolutely crucial, I believe. This is a German company. Whoops. And you can see, the red box is going over some of it, I do apologise. That it's a German company that specialises, it's a publishing company that specialises in language reference works in addition to publicising monolingual dictionaries, okay? Also publishers of dictionaries and travel phrase books, okay? So we've now got these publishing companies and they're very old companies. Look, this one is from, this person, sorry, we'll come to the person in a minute. So the history of it stems from 1856. Remember, Companies House 1844. So we've now got the fraud linking to massive publicist companies from well before World War One, okay, linked to schools, the educational system, to Germany, to this fraud. You see where this is going? So it now has to be considered that books have been rewritten over this fraud. Oh, sorry, sorry about that. Problems with the Zoom then. Wasn't very focused. So we now have to consider that the educational establishments and books and publicising of media and books has been corrupted right back before World War One in relation to this fraud. That means that any book could have been altered, adapted, or changed to fit the narrative of this fraud. All right, that has to be considered with this information. Now, this links through to research, links through to this person, and they link through to APA Publications Limited. And they're registered to Bell Yard in London. Now, Bell Yard features around, I believe if you look back at the research for the Kit Kat Club, that is linked to sexual fetishes, but also to Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, it links into that research regarding the Kit Kat Club. Can I remember the special advisor, Douglas Dougie Smith, to the last few prime ministers? Have a little look at him. A very shady background from the looks of it. I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but he's Scottish. He was involved in fever sex parties, okay, starting from 1998. He also appears to be linked to security around oil fields and airports in the Middle East, as well as around the COVID sites, okay, in relation to the COVID vaccines and the pandemic. But importantly, he also links, which will be shown and is documented, is very closely linked to management companies surrounding my building in Dorset, which also links to a Masonic hall. Okay, so we're looking, I'm diverting. We're now linked to Walker Books. They were established in 1978. And on the incorporation document for them, you've got Temple Chambers, Temple Avenue. Okay. This person, Royal Charles Keane. But importantly, the London Law Agency. Remember, the London Law Agency, again, has an unregistered incorporation document and is linked to Max Clifford, Jeffrey Epstein, and all the way through this fraud, but also to the youth accommodation project called the High Elm Movement from the 1929. They are still running today. This all links through, you'll see in a minute, to the Children's Bureau, to the adoption of fostering agencies. We'll come to that in a bit. So we're now looking into Walker books further, and the incorporation document links through to ICC on the right there, and also on the left you can see when the incorporated. Now ICC links to research surrounding Harriet Harman, okay, which links to Newco. Now this is important because we're going to come on to Harriet Harman in a minute, but you've also got a link through to British Gas. I haven't researched British Gas too much. My goodness, I've caused enough disruption through this. Walker Productions Limited. Obviously everyone can do their own research, and Walker Production links to Swift Incorporations, which links through to Jordan's. This is their incorporation document again, and on the top there I've highlighted that, yeah, Swift. And then there's links through to TGM. What was the reason? There was a reason I put TGM. I think it's further up here. I can't recall it, but there is a link somewhere if you want to go back. So you've got TGM Holdings. That's again address in Finsbury Square. Remember, that's already been mentioned. The same address is being used throughout. If there's no affiliation to the company, then that's fraud. They can't use false details, but Companies House are allowing it. It links through to this company, which is the Trustbish Global Media Holdings. If you search these company links through to Cayman Islands, okay, you can see there, Cayman, TMF Cayman Limited, Grand Cayman Islands, offshore tax haven, but also can be used for money laundering, to move criminally attained money to offshore accounts. So this links, we've all just mentioned TMF. So TMF now we're looking at. Change their name. Look at this. So we had a name incorporation on 24th of April 2017. It changed its name in August. Okay, and then changed its name again later. And they are linked through, what's this? Two Legalinks. Remember, Sevenside and Legalinks links to research surrounding David Cameron, and you'll see that in those documents. And to, I believe, to Tony Blair, I can't remember, but certainly another big politician, I can't remember which one. Now we're researching the New York Daily News, which is linked to research surrounding Max Clifford. Okay, it was called the Daily News, is what it's known for. Okay, you can read this in your own time. Established in... So it was a US daily printed in tabloid format. It was the first one, sorry. It reached its peak in circulation in 1947. So a massive tabloid newspaper in America. See there on the right the information about it. So it was founded, actually it says there in 1919. But importantly, just have a little look at that there. Importantly, when you research Daily News on Companies House, it comes up with NewsQuest Media again. Remember, NewsQuest Media is linked to the Daily Bournemouth Echo, and that is a very old company, which I think I'll come on to it in a minute. But that links because you can see it's got Daily News as its previous name. So we're looking at now NewsQuest Media on the right there. And it had a previous name on the left there. You can see Daily News Limited. Now a person from there links through to, bear with me. Yes, we've got a link through via Neil Carpenter. I'm not saying you're involved in fraud, Neil, or anyone, in fact. You can see it links through to NewsQuest Media Group. This is undoubtedly a fraudulent system. I mean, that's a fact. The documents are proving this irrefutably. So you've got NewsQuest Media Group Limited, incorporated in 1992. And you can see on their address, NewsQuest Media Group Limited. Oh, sorry, NewsQuest Media Group Limited. Yeah, that is this company. And you can see it was called Reed Regional Newspapers. We've already got a Reed company linked through. But there's more on that later. There is a, I think it's NewsQuest Southern or something like that, that links to Bournemouth Echo. It's on one of my other videos. And that it has an unregistered incorporation document. And that's a very old media company. So now we're looking at, now this was sent to me, this company. I wasn't aware of this one myself. Thank you very much to Scotty. He sent this link through to me. So you've got Ghislaine Maxwell is linked to this company. And you can see we've got an address in Salisbury in Wiltshire, very close to Dorset. Okay. Now this company, this is the incorporation document, has Ghislaine Maxwell on it, you can see. And it also has a Lucy Marie Clive, actually. That should be underneath there. I've redacted a little bit too much out. And it's also got Farrer and Co. company. That's important because you'll see how that links in. And here is supposedly Ghislaine Maxwell's signatures and Lucy Marie Clive, which we'll come to. Now, Farrer Research is already factored, and that links to Caroline Smith, the head of the research surrounding, Caroline Smith, who is the head of Companies House. Okay. Remember, Companies House, this is what we're looking at, most of this. So now research in relation to Ghislaine links to this article. Robert Maxwell's children cannot escape his poisonous legacy as his daughter gets embroiled in the Prince Andrew scandal. Okay, now hopefully you know about the Prince Andrew scandal. And at the bottom of that article it says what happened to Kevin. And according to this article, he lived with Lucy Clive. Now remember, we've already got a person of that name. We'll come to in a minute. Here we go, Lucy Marie Clive, who was linked to Terramar. Now I'll just let you read this. This just again gives a bit more information about what I'm talking about as we move forward. I'm sorry if there's some spelling mistakes. As I said before, this is all done on my phone. You'll see a link in a minute to the Masonic Association in Salisbury. There's also a link through to, not on this document, but another one, link to a Masonic Hall in Poole. Okay, so now we're looking at Lucy Marie Clive, and you can see she's linked to a freehold company. Ooh. And we're now looking at that freehold company. And you can see that it is linked to Swifting Corporations Limited. Again, that person has not been registered with Swifting Corporations Limited. Companies House would have had that document and should have registered them. They haven't. Now it links through to the Normandy Memorial Trust. Remember we mentioned Harriet Harman. We're going to come to that in a minute. The Normandy Memorial Trust links through to this, baronesses. Okay, so now we've got links to baronesses, lords, and baronesses all the way through this company. Look how quickly we've gone from Ghislaine Maxwell to lords and baronesses, okay, through Companies House. Lords. It's all public information, remember, cannot be removed. Lords. And you can pause this, have a little look at it in more detail. So one of those lords, I believe, is it a lord? Yeah, Lord Ricketts from that company links through to a company called Kids. We've also got another lord on the top right there, links through from it to the Foundation for Science and Technology. So we're looking at that company now. They dissolved or closed in December 2022. Remember, I reported the fraud, started reporting it in, it was actually July I started finding out about it, but I reported it in around September. And now this company dissolves, even though it's been trading since 1977. We're at 30 minutes, so I shall stop this video here. We're at the beginning of page 103.